Hello, it's a girl Robbie, and I'm back at it with another video. As you may know, I'm here today to talk about the Shekin application because I have the shirt on. Wait, you don't see it? I'm trying to show that she can, but I guess I'm a little bit down, so you will not be able to see as much. But this is a nice t-shirt, and it has she can on it, so you already know what I'm about to talk about. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the application questions. I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to begin your essay if you've not already started, or how to proofread if you've already started, or just general tips on how to work in and around it before submitting your application. So I've been getting a couple of questions here and there from different people, and I can't respond to everyone because I'm pretty busy. So I thought about doing a general video where I might be able to cover everything, but if I don't, I wouldn't say that because I would try my best to cover as much as I can. Things I know that will be important to you as a new applicant, I will try to provide meaningful tips for y'all. So just stay to the end. Your question might be answered, or just learning from other people's questions might also be great. So welcome back. As you may or may not know, I'm one of the Shekin scholars. I'm part of the 2023 cohort, and I was selected in 2023, and I came here in 2024, and this coming August will make me a year in America. It's funny, right? Time flies. Anyway, as one of the persons who've been through this entire application process, I feel like I should give you tips because it's necessary for you to know, and it will be helpful for someone to guide you through the entire process. So I hope everything I'm about to say becomes helpful to you. I'm going to be reading my application to you and how I wrote everything, so you have a broader knowledge of me, just not saying what I think will be better, but also following through and seeing that, oh, maybe I can start this way or start from that way. So let's begin. Just so you know, the application questions, I mean, they are still the same, but there have been some changes here and there, so I might not go through some of the questions you have because I don't have them here. So I'll only be going through the questions I have. Okay, so now let's begin with the question that says your story. So the good thing about the application questions is that they give you tips, right? They give you prompts of how to start writing your essay. For an example, this question says, tell us about you and what makes you unique, your family background, and any challenges you or your family may have faced. Share any details about your life and how you've grown into the person you are. And then the left or know that there will be a separate question about COVID-19. So please do not focus on the impact of the pandemic on your family in this question. Not more than 2,400 characters. Okay, that sounds like too much, but let's get into it. So let me just read the introductory part of my essay, and I will give you my review after. So this is how I started my essay. I am Robert Lynn Sobey. I am a Liberian girl who, although her own life has been faced with terrifying obstacles and some sad realities, I still find a way to grow and find a meaning in everything. My ability to withstand odds and beat them, my optimism, my strength and potential I have maintained in a male-dominated society where females are mostly seen as domestic workers, my ability to make friends and positively influence my peers, as well as to adapt to any environment and life circumstances. These are a few of the qualities that make me unique. I guess that was a lot I just threw out there, but let me break this down little by little. So before beginning, like an essay writing, you have to start with an interesting hook. They will always tell you this in class, like you have to have something interesting that will make the person want to read more. Okay, this is what this introduction is about. So as you can see in this introduction, I said who I am, and I also went to say a little about where I grew up, and I told them how I see myself. Like I see myself more as an extrovert rather than an introvert. And I also put out there some of the things that I have been through, like life circumstances. And I didn't just say, oh, I've been through this, I've been through that. I also appreciated some of the good things that have come with those circumstances and how they have like made me strong as an individual. I know this doesn't go like into detail, but this is just an overview of what I'm going to be saying in my essay. So now they have an idea that, oh, she's going to be talking about her struggles, her strength, her optimism, her potentials, her family, and just everything that makes her unique as a person. You want to sell yourself out, that they will want to be more interested in reading your story. So again, start with, you can begin your essay from anywhere. You don't have to start the way I started. I'm just giving you a clue. You can start from the end, from the middle, from the beginning, whatsoever. But you have to introduce yourself, who you are, maybe where you grew up or where you partly grew up, and what makes you unique as a person, and what are some of the challenges you faced in life, and how have they shaped you around to be the person you are. Okay, just give an overview of all of those points little by little, and then you can later on go deep into them, which I'm about to do anyways. So this is how I started my actual essay. Okay, after the introduction, so I began by saying my mother's name is this and my father's name is this. Both my parents are still alive and are married according to the African tradition. I went ahead and said how many siblings I have, and I just added some things to spice it up, but I'm not going to read my entire essay here anyway. So I went down to talk more about myself because again, it's about me. And then I started transitioning to me talking about myself now. So I'm about to tell them why is the reason that I consider mine the worst. Okay, don't focus on talking about your family too much. You have a place where you talk about your family, so don't focus on that. Just let this story be about you. So because I was born after Liberia civil conflict, I had to talk a little about that, how it impacted my family and how mine became the worst from all of my sisters. So I went ahead and I started like this. I was just born 2 years after the 14 years of devastating civil conflict in my country, Liberia. After war, things are expected to be difficult because of the destruction of things and the separation of families and tribal groups. People are busy looking for their family members. Countries are busy looking for ways to gain its stand and unity. Job opportunities can be difficult to find, so my parents found it difficult to maintain my siblings and I. So now I'm a little bit going into why I feel like my life has been mixed with terrifying obstacles. Then now I've started to tell them some of the impacts the civil conflict had on my parents. Like my dad lost his job. My mom also couldn't work at that time, so we had to relocate to the village, which was not favorable for me because unlike my siblings who had some of the best education, some of the best food, and some of the best friends they could have, I, on the other hand, had to grow up in this devastating time because my parents couldn't do anything. That was the only option, relocating back to the village and starting life over. Okay, so now I'm about to go more into how this relocation to the village impacted my life as a kid. So I went on to tell them how I used to help my parents farm because my parents didn't have money back then to send me to school, and it was just after the war, so there wasn't even good educational system, so we just had to wait. So my siblings and I will either sell or help my parents farm, and then after some time of just going in this routine cycle, I got registered in a little substandard school, which was not even up to standard as maybe some of the education my sisters had. For example, we had to sit on the ground to copy notes, and there wasn't even good professors back then to even teach us. So my education level back then was like maybe 5 out of 100 or something. I'm explaining some of the struggles I had to endure, and that have in all made me a stronger person that I think I am. So this entire one is just talking about what I did with my family, how we this entire compromised educational system we had in the village took a tour on me. And then I went to another part where I talked about the time we relocated from Nimba County to Zwerju. So, and then in this time, I'm not only telling them that I faced this difficulty, I'm going into detail on how I felt like this thing was really difficult for me. And even with everything I was going through, I mentioned in my story that I still thought about becoming the leader that will become of help to other people who've shared the similar stories as me, becoming a leader who will make a difference, becoming a leader who will put an end to gender discrimination in Liberia. Like, I had this thing rotating through my mind that even though I'm going through this thing, I'm not going to let my circumstances define me. And this is what they want to see in your essay, that even though this girl was going through hard times, I think the desperation of becoming a leader was not even something that started today. It was something that started even when she was nobody. So now, say for an example, we give her this scholarship and she becomes a leader. She will definitely understand people who are even from the slum, because, for example, she's already been there. She knows how it feels, and she was going to make a better leader. This is an impression you want to give to the reader, okay? So let's proceed. I went ahead and talked about getting a scholarship to go to school back then in Zwerju. Coming up as one of the top in my class, maintaining a really high GPA, participating in extracurricular activities, just explaining all of my success so far anyway. And then unfortunately I had to relocate because there was a tragedy that happened in the school I was attending, which I mentioned here, and I'm not going to mention it here, sadly. I'm sorry. But you just need to say something that makes you unique, something that built you up so far. And after this time, I thought everything was working out. Life took a U-turn again, and I had to start all over. So I had to relocate to Bon County, Gbanga, and sadly not going to school for a year. And in that year, I explained everything that took place, okay? Basically, it's just explaining your struggles, and after it all, despite everything that have happened, what have you maintained as a person? What have you learned? What have you grown into? Or how haven't you allowed your story to define you, like I said from the beginning? So it's just everything I explained here. And then after I sat down for a year, I explained what happened during those years. And when I finally got to go to St. Martin's, I explained what I did in St. Martin's, some of my volunteer works, part-time jobs I've done. In this last part, I specifically focused on my volunteer works because I didn't want them to know that, this girl has left from these circumstances and now she has maybe some good spots in school. She has good friends. She's working as a news reporter and broadcaster. She's even supporting women's voices on the radio with her different programs she's running. But what else is she doing apart from what she's doing from school activities? So you need to be someone who is into volunteerism. If you can't be a social worker, be someone who is willing to help people even when you are not asked to. So this is what I explained, where I've volunteered, how I've helped people, and how these helping people have also helped me. What else can I add? That's it. I'm so sorry I can't read my essay, but I think you should understand the same thing I've been saying. Just put yourself out there. Be vulnerable with your story. Don't try to hold anything back, because they are not going to expose your story to anyone. They are only going to read your story and know if you are a better fit for the scholarship. So put everything you feel is necessary for people to know about you. Put things that make you stand out from other people, okay? That is what I can say about this one that talks about story. I also put in some of my leadership roles in school. I was part of let me see, you may not have done everything I did when I was in school back then, because I was into the school health club, I was the press director, I was just all over the place. You may not be the same, but put things that you've done that you think help stand you out, okay? That's what I can say about the story. So let's move to another one. I hope that was a good tip enough. 1, be your real self. 2, say your struggles out. 3, say how they have shaped you into a unique person. And 3, how you can use your story to impact other people, just in case you become one of the chosen scholars. Also, I'll only be going over the essay questions. I will not read through the entire 50 questions because, girl, we don't need to be doing that, okay? You just need tips for the essays, because I feel like they are the ones that I more like, maybe they need more attention. Not like the others are not important, or girl, you just need tips for the essays, okay? They are all important, but let's go through the essays. They are what makes your application more unique. So the second question here is, I'm going to jump over career goals right now, because for what I have is the other question, so I'm just going to go through that and I'll come back to the career goal, which I'm sure you have. The next question is, please tell us about all the activities you have participated in. What clubs, organizations, sports, school activities, etc. where or are you involved in, and what leadership roles did you play? This is an important question. You have to answer this question with intentionality. You have to answer it realistically, because you will not only say things you think you are saying things that, just in case if they reach out to your school will be able to account for all of those activities that you will be listing in your application questions. So let me go through what I wrote again, and you have an idea of what to write or how to start. This is how I started. I've been involved in many leadership programs and activities. For example, in my school, I was appointed as this and this, and as that person that I was appointed as, I did this, I ensured this, and I did this, and I did that. So you have to explain everything you did when you were appointed in this role, and what impact. You don't have to write anything about impact, because you're only talking about that, okay? So for an example, I'm not going to say what I was appointed as, but let me just jump into what I said a little bit. I ensured the blank and blank of my fellow students by carrying out this and this, that and that. And then that was just a short answer for that one club I mentioned, because if you are involved, or if you were involved as much as I was involved, you need space to write, because I think this is only 1,400 characters. So you need space to write for the other things, okay? And then I proceeded, after I've explained what I did in this role, I proceeded to the other one, which is I also joined the blank blank at my school, and I did this and that. And that was all. This is all you need to say in this thing. You don't need to explain too much, okay? I went on to say, furthermore, I joined the this team, I did this and that. And then after I'm done with my school, if you also involved with other activities outside of school, you can also mention this. For example, I am the founder of this organization, or being the ED of this organization, that's the executive director. I do this, I do that, I help others do this, I help others do that. And I also mentioned some of my part-time jobs, not like part-time jobs, but where I volunteered, where people would consider as a work, but it was not a work. It was just, I was just volunteering. I mentioned those places. For example, I said I have been a peer educator and a member of the Liberian Children Parliament. And then I said, as a peer educator at this place, I did this, I did this. and I did this, and that was all. And then I said currently, if you're currently doing something, you can say it in your application. Currently, back then when I wrote this application, I was volunteering at my school's radio station, that's Pirate FM, and I was doing news reporting and broadcasting. So I said it in this thing. This is a platform given to you to explain what you've done, and from what you've done, they will know that, oh, this person has not only been after herself, but she's giving herself time to help other people grow through everything she's done. For an example, one of the little organizations I founded back then, they were all organizations that could help people grow, that could help people find themselves, that could help girls find their voices, that could help girls speak out, that could help raise awareness on menstrual hygiene. That it was just so about women's rights, because obviously I'm a human rights activist, so I'm a feminist. Anyway, you don't need to do too much, just write what you've been doing and your role. That's it. Don't do too much, okay? Don't do too much. Now let's go back to the career goals question. I feel like that's important in a way that other people don't know what they want to write right now, because Shekin has not like a policy, but for people who want to become doctors, Shekin doesn't support you to become a doctor. They can only support you to get your bachelor's degree. Let me just say BSc for now, even though people aren't getting BSc only these days. People are getting different degrees, but they only support you through your 4 years in college. And if you are opportune to get another scholarship, or there's another opportunity open for you to get your master's, they will not stop you to get your master's. But for now, let's just keep it as she can only support you for the 4 years through college, okay? So if you want to get a doctorate degree, of course you have to graduate from college, go to a medical school to get your doctorate degree, and Shekin doesn't go to that extent. That's why people who come in with the desire that they want to become doctors, they tell you that, oh, we don't support you to become doctor, we only support you for this length of time. And even though we're going to be with you throughout your entire time, because there's an entire new community you find yourself part of, we can't support you to become a doctor. So because there is that limitation, people are confused about what to go in with. This is the question I've been getting, like, even though I want to become a doctor, does Shekin support you to become a doctor? Or if Shekin doesn't, what else can I say? You can say anything you're passionate about. I can't tell you what you want to study. But for me, for an example, when I was coming here, I had the plan to study public health, okay? I was coming to study public health. But Shekin, of course, Shekin accepts people studying public health because it's one of the well-known majors here anyway. So the problem was not from Shekin. The problem is my school doesn't offer a public health degree on BSc level. They offer a public health degree on master's level. So because of this situation, I had to switch to another major and hope that after graduation I will get another opportunity to get a master's degree in public health. But right now I had to switch my major. So these are some of the problems you will encounter, and Shekin will tell you more about that. So to answer the question, career goals, the question is, let me make this bigger so I'll be able to read. The question is, tell us about an area of study or type of career you are interested in right now. What about that field interests you? What experiences have you had, or steps have you taken to prepare and learn about this type of career? What impact do you believe you can make in your country by following a career in this field? No more than 1,400 characters. Okay, let's dive into that. And just so you know, it's not compulsory for you to do what you say right now when you get to college. You have the flexibility to choose anything that you desire after what you've written in your application. So this should just be, it's not temporary, because some of my friends are still going with what they wrote, unlike me that had to change because of what I just explained. So this is not like you forced to go with anything you say to Shekin in this question, okay? So let me read how I started. So as you all know, when we are in Liberia, majority of us want to become medical doctors, which is really pretty good. But I feel like we should explore different areas because there are so many interesting majors out there. You don't just have to be based on medical doctor, bro. You need to explore. We have interesting majors out there. I will tell you some of the majors we have here at my school that's making me to switch around, which I pretty much like. But after, I'm telling you all this to tell you that it was medical doctor. And when I went, after being accepted, she told me that they can't support me to get my medical degree. I had to come up with another alternative, which they will ask you, just in case she doesn't support you to get your doctorate degree, what else do you think you can switch to, and how do you think you'll be able to impart with that degree? That's one of the interview questions. Write this down and have it at the back of your mind. If you have medical doctor as the career you want to go into, have another thing at the back of your mind that you will have to say, because I just revealed one of my application questions, which will be coming up soon. Let's go. So I said, it is my goal to become a medical doctor. Growing up as a little girl, I always dreamed of saving lives. However, that wasn't a priority till I started volunteering in health organizations. And then I said where I did volunteer first, which was my school health club. And then while volunteering in that health club further prompts my desire to learn more in the medical field. And then I went on to say, to further develop my knowledge, I said other places I volunteered specifically concerning health, because of course it's into health, that have made me want to become a medical doctor. And to make it even more interesting, you don't just have to blab around about, oh, I want to be a doctor because I want to save life. I want to be a doctor because Liberia needs more doctors, obviously, but you don't have to keep blabbing about that. You can make it interesting by, for example, my grandmom's death. If I could turn the hands of time, which I didn't say in here, I'm just giving you an example. If I was a medical doctor and I could turn back the hands of time, maybe I would not be working specifically in that department where my grandma needed help, but I feel like I could have done more than just sitting back as a kid and watching her battle with this illness because there wasn't a doctor to take care of her at the appropriate time. So that was a really meaningful and emotional experience that I told that helps me want to become more a doctor, okay? And you can relate it to different things. You add in other organizations that you've joined that are also about health. I'm just saying health, but bro, you don't have to say, girl, sorry, I keep saying bro because y'all, this is something we say here regularly, so I'm always going to be saying bro, but when I say bro, I mean girl because I'm only doing this for girls. You can say what you want to say with more details of why you want to do it and what has encouraged you or what gives you the desire. What is giving you that burning desire of wanting to go more into the field you want to go into, okay? So it's just basically about that. But make it interesting. Play around with the questions. Don't only go because she can say right what you want to become and you just go, oh, I want to become, for example, a nurse because I want to do this and do that. Play around with the question. Be creative, right? I'm not saying you should fake your things, but write things that are necessary for people to know that, oh, this thing is important, and it's not only important to her, but it's also important to the country, that when she comes back, it will be like an added advantage to the country, not only her, okay? And then I said, after blabbing about the entire thing, I said to conclude, I want to become a medical doctor because I want to help my country move forward by working and never giving up on my country like the few. I'm not going to say that, but that was a good one. This is how you should like make them want to read more. Like, yeah, if I was to put this one on the screen, y'all going to copy it right away, but just make them want to be like, oops. That's a good one. That was a good one. Actually, I didn't even know that. Oh, I was so creative with my writing, y'all. Just going through this is also interesting for me. And then I said, additionally, I want to become a doctor because I want to help educate the young and ignorant on the importance of health, which is life. Then this is important because unlike my grandmother who did not survive because of the inadequate health facility, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. That'll be a good conclusion. Okay, that was it, yo. I can't believe we're getting through these questions as quickly. I thought it was going to take all of my time, but it's actually interesting, y'all. So let's continue. Let me go through the other question. This is an important one, okay? Make sure you answer this question as well with intentionality, okay? So the question is, if you were selected, please describe how you will contribute to the She-Can Scholarship Program. No more than 1,400 characters. And again, characters are not words, okay? When they say 1,400 words, it means that, for example, if you're spelling and will be considered as one word, and there will be considered as another one word, which is 2 words. But characters, the A is 1, the N is 1, the D is 1, the T is 1, the H is 1, the E is 1. So you have 6. So don't be freaking out. Characters are different from words. Characters, they are counting everything you put down. If you put command, they will count the command as 1, okay? But words, thank God they didn't say words because they were going to kill us, okay? Don't freak out. So let's answer this question. I was freaking out as well to answer this question, but you just need to relax and think about how you think you can contribute to. So, for example, if someone does something great for you, how will you be able to repay this person back, even though it might not be as necessary that you pay back? But if you want to pay back, how can you pay this person back? This is what this question is about. So just think and talk about how can you really contribute to the She-Can community. So let me find that question. It was just right here. Where did I? Okay, let me read my question. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm going through my questions because since I submitted my application last year, November, I think this is the very first time I'm going in detail over my questions. Can you believe that? It's almost a year. Anyway, let's get to it. I began by saying this is an important one. You may not have to write exactly as I wrote, but you might want to remind them of She-Can's mission, which is what I'm about to say here. Listen, I think I'm going to read this entire thing because it's not my story. Let's go through. She-Can's mission to build, empower, and educate young women who are from underprivileged backgrounds align greatly with my passion and aspirations. Therefore, if I'm accepted, I will be willing to contribute, participate, or offer any service that will be to the benefit of the organization. When accepted, I hope to create educational opportunities such as reading or writing programs for other Liberian girls who intend on applying for the She-Can Scholarship, like I'm doing now. Oh, I'm actually fulfilling one of my promises to She-Can because I promised them I was going to help other girls who will be applying for the scholarship, to give them tips and to help them apply. Yo, take a moment to clap for me, yo. Take a moment to clap for me. Take a moment to clap for me. I'm already doing it. She-Can should be proud of me. Anyway, let's continue. Liberian girls who intend on applying for the She-Can Scholarship but are struggling. I didn't say you're struggling, but I think y'all clap for me, man. I can also be a mentor to young candidates to help them navigate their path to becoming a successful scholar. Additionally, I will attend She-Can programs and participate in events they organize. Yo, I think I've contributed to the She-Can program with just what I wrote, because just this going January we went for a leadership summit, and that was another way of participating in the program. And now I'm here helping other girls who want to know more about She-Can. That was all. And I know this might be short, but actually it was 1,400 characters. Like I said again, characters, they are counting everything. Words, they are counting word by word. That was it. You don't need to do too much. Just say exactly what you would do for the organization, or exactly what you would do through the organization to impart other people. A good one to write that you will help other girls when you succeed. Next! Next question. Please describe your home. How many rooms does it have? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Do you have your own room or share? How many people sleep in your room? Do you have electricity? How do you access water for washing? Not more than 2,000 characters. This is actually an interesting question. It's another time given to you to explain more about yourself. Okay, this is how I started my I live in a rented house located in the remote part of Wangabong County with my older sister. I will not read this, but I will just tell you what I did. I told them who I was staying with, and I literally described my house in detail. Okay, I talked about the brick, I talked about the color the house was painted with, I talked about the surrounding, I talked about the trees, I talked about the water, I talked about how my house looks like we had 2 rooms, a shared bathroom, a kitchen, an outside porch, and I shared my room with my 12 years old brother, so I told that. And then I explained some of the difficulties in sharing a room with the opposite gender. For example, girls, we get our periods, and my brother was only 12 by then, so whenever this thing happens, I have to like hide it from him or keep him out of the room for me to change my parts, or after taking a shower he needs to step out for me to come in and undress and get ready for school. Or another challenge was, because we shared just one bathroom, getting ready for school in the morning was another obstacle, because my brother is trying to get ready, I am trying to get ready, my sister is trying to get ready for work. So because of this, I had a short sleep schedule because I had to wake up earlier to take a shower first so I don't get stuck with the bathroom issue, or I had to go to bed late because I'm outside studying because my little brother is disturbing in the room, and just everything that comes with this situation that you're in right now. From what I said right now, it's a good tip for you to actually explain. So when they're asking you for your house, they are not just asking you to explain what your house looks like. It's another way to tell them some of the difficulties you are experiencing in that moment. For example, another one I said was we lived really far away from the city, so it got me walking all of the time, because also my sister wasn't really doing a good work that would have enabled me to be getting on motorbike in Liberia, going here and there. So because we lived all the way in Sugar Hill, I had to be walking every time to the market to get food. I had to cross the water. I just explained everything that came with this house circumstances, okay? And you should also do so. If you have a rich house, you can explain that you have a rich house. You don't have to make yourself poor because you want to explain, but just explain what you have. What are some of the circumstances if you're sharing a room with, even if it's a girl, you can also face challenges when sharing a room with your little sister. It doesn't even have to be your brother. It can be your little sister. For an example, when you, I don't know, I wasn't sharing a room with a girl, but you're sharing a room with girls, you all know how it is. Sometimes the child or the other person is not really tightly as you are, so whenever you've cleaned the place, your sister will come around and mess the entire room. That's a disturbing situation. Or maybe your sister uses your things out of the blue, or anything that comes with that. But I think, yeah, these are everything you should be doing. Explain whether you have water around your house or you have to go distance for water. Explain whether you cook in or outside of your house, and just everything. Yeah, I think I'm twisting too much, but it's because I'm reading on the computer. But yep, let's go. I'm playing too much, but We don't need to be serious throughout our lives, you know. We need to be chill sometimes. Chill sometimes. Okay. Let me go to the next question. Next. Wow, I'm not sure that's my ugly finger. Anyway, let's go. The next question is funding. So I've been asked about this question a lot. You can write any figure. I don't have to tell you. First of all, let me just read the question. After so many back and forth, I finally found the question, and let me read it. So it says monthly, monthly income. Please estimate your average household income for a month. Please ensure you are providing income for 1 month, not 1 year. Got that? How much does each member of your household earn every month? If their income is inconsistent or seasonal, like farming or tourism, please explain here, no more than 1,400 characters. So I cannot tell you what to say. You are in the best position to know more of your family income, okay? But I'll give you tips on how to answer such question. It's just something short. For what I wrote, I said my mom is the main source of income for my family at the moment. Though she does not have a stable and suitable job that brings in much income, she does a small business. And then I said what my mom does. I said how much she makes from this, and I gave the equivalent in US dollars because I said it in Liberian dollars. And then I said what my father does because he also brings in income, even though not as much as my mother does back then. And then I also estimated the amount in both Liberian and US dollars. And basically that's it. You don't need to stress about this question. For example, if your mom sells in the market, if she sells, and also you need to say what they sell, okay? Mom sells in the market and she sells peppers, tomatoes, onions, just market essentials. List everything she sells. And because you're in Liberia right now, you know the current rates. That's one way you can answer the question. Right, if you don't know exactly how much your mom makes, and you don't really have to know, it's just an estimation, right? Write down the price of, for example, Fita by cartoon. Write down how many cartoons you think she can buy in a month. Calculate the price of the entire cartoon and everything she sells on the table and put the price there. And then write this price in US dollars, because mind you, the people don't know the Liberian dollars. So you might want to convert everything in US dollars as well, so they have a clearer view of what you're talking about. Okay, so this is basically about this question. You don't need to stress. Just write. If you don't know, give an estimate. But it shouldn't be plenty of money, oh. I had to put this in colloquial because why not? It shouldn't be plenty of money, oh. So they can say you rich kid. Let's move to the next question. What is it? There's a question that says, who pays or paid your high school fees? If you were awarded a scholarship to help fund your high school education, please describe your scholarship. Example, auto provided annually, percentage of costs covered by scholarship, not more than 1,400 characters. So this question is deep, because if you are on a scholarship and you don't know how much the scholarship pays towards your tuition every year, now you might want to ask your school how much the scholarship is contributing, or you might want to reach out to one of the sponsors from your scholarship to know how much they are actually contributing annually for your school fees. For example, in mine, I said for my time spent in school, I started from elementary through high school. I was sponsored by this and that. In elementary school, I called my elementary school name and I said who I was sponsored by, and I said how many years I was in the school for. And then because I was in the school for this amount of time, I approximated the amount to this figure, because that was what I got from the school. by then. Again, you want to write the figures in US dollars so they have an idea of what you're talking about. And then I went on to say during high school, at this school, I was sponsored by this organization or this person, and annually they used to pay this amount towards my scholarship, and how many people were awarded this scholarship. And because another thing is, if the scholarship is not only paying for you, if it's paying for an entire people as a unit, you need to say exactly how much they are paying for everyone, and then divide this by the amount of students they have and give the figure of how much they are paying for you. They are paying 6,000 Liberian dollars towards school fees for an individual. And you all know our school can go for how much, 9 months in Liberia or something. You put it 26,000, you write the equivalent in US dollars. That's it. Yay! I think we are done. That was all of the essay questions. Yeah, it's not that many. I think I mean the ones you have to write too much are the ones we just went through. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are not that many, okay? Just give yourself time and do what you can do, okay? I'm not just going to end here because I know you also want some clarification. I'm going to start from the beginning, and I promise I'll be fast because I don't want to take much of your time, and also I don't want to take much of my time. So basic bio, your name, your last name, your email, your phone number, your age, your birth date, birth city, country of citizenship, Liberia of course, and which below best describes where you grew up. If rural, you put rural. If urban, you put urban, and anything else. And of course tell me about yourself, which I've already done that. Career goals, if you're selected, please tell. Of course I've done that. And then so they have short answer questions, okay? For example, this one: what is the date of your high school graduation or expected date of graduation? You already done the WASP, but you haven't gotten the date you graduate yet. You can put haven't gotten the graduation date yet, but I'm sure you will have to know because they can be in communication about graduation dates. How did you hear about SheCan? What organization or persons suggested you apply? For example, Smile Liberia, Angie Brooks, International Center, US Embassy, high school principal. Right, who told you about SheCan? Maybe you heard about it from a friend. Right, it was a friend. High school principal is as easy. You don't have to write too much. And if I was the one, you said I was the one. Yeah, don't mind me. Technology and internet. How do you usually access the internet? Please explain any barriers you may face. For example, data cost, location, Wi-Fi, poor internet. Explain exactly, because you know in Liberia the internet can be tripping. So explain what you should explain about this thing. Is as easy. For example, for me, I said data cost, and I said sometimes I find it very difficult to get data due to poor finances. How many times have you used a computer? None. 1 to 5, 1 to 10, many times. So for this question, I would advise you not to say none, even if you know to use it before you. I would advise you not to say none because you will have to deal with computers a lot. And if you actually haven't used a computer before, that's not a problem, because when you get to Smile Liberia, which I talked about in my previous video, everything will be sorted out. They will show you how to use the computer. They will show you how to navigate everything you need to navigate, okay? So if you haven't used it before, I would suggest you choose the 1 to 5 times. They will not ask you what you've learned about the computer or anything like that, so there's no need to be scared about that. Have you ever used Zoom or any any platform for video conferencing feature. I know we barely use these things in Liberia, but other people know about Zoom. So if you've used Zoom for anything, you can say if you then they have this optional video. If desired, upload a 2-minute video to tell us why you believe you should be selected for a leadership program designed to help emerging leaders in Liberia reach their full potential. We recognize barriers to creating a video, so this question is entirely optional. Choosing not to submit a video will not impact your chances of being selected for SheCan. So even though this is optional, but I feel like it would be great for you to upload a video. It doesn't have to be anything long. You can do something just like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, saying something sweet. It's another way of putting yourself out there. So I would advise that you do it. I did it, and look where we got. So high school transcripts. Please upload your transcripts from grade 10, 11, and 12. We cannot consider your application or invite you to an interview without seeing your grades. So you have to upload your transcripts. Or for an example, if you don't have your 12th grade transcript yet because you haven't graduated to get your diploma and all of that, you can have your school write to SheCan that, oh, this is the circumstances. I haven't graduated. I haven't gotten my diploma. I haven't gotten my WASP result. I haven't gotten my school transcripts or even my recommendation letter. You can have your school write to SheCan and assure them that whenever any of these things are out, they themselves will send them to SheCan. So that's another one. I didn't have any of those things, so I had my school principal write to SheCan and say, oh yeah, her graduation will be in November and all of those things are not out yet, so we will be able to send them whenever we have them. So that's not something to worry about. Like I've already talked about the WAS. You can do that. Okay, did anybody help you complete this form? If so, please explain how they've helped you. For example, I'm helping you right now because maybe everything I've said helped you with your proofreading, or everything I've said have helped you with your essay writing, or anyhow what I'm saying have helped you. You can say that in the application. And mind you, I'm not getting credit for you mentioning my name. It doesn't matter whether you mention my name or not. I'm not getting credit. I'm not getting any favor. Nothing. Okay, if you don't want to write my name, or if you don't want to write anyone's name, it's totally fine. You don't have to. It's not like necessary that you do that. And then the last question, do you have any question or issues with this application you need us to know about? Please explain here, not more than 2,000 characters. For this, I would suggest you say something, because again, you're selling yourself out there. You don't want to leave any question unattended to. So if you don't even have question, leave an appreciation message. Okay, just leave anything that will make you stand out from other students. You want to tell them that you're great. You want to tell them that, oh, it's not just about writing, or it's not just about fighting for the SheCan position. I'm here, I see your efforts, and I appreciate them. That was what I did. I didn't have any issue. No, I think I had issue. I wrote my concerns, and then I went on to write an appreciation message also in this place. So you can also do that. And that's all. Yay! We were able to get you everything. Gosh, y'all made me to skip my gym today just to sit and do this. But it's fun. It's fun. Actually, it's fun to be able to go through this entire thing again. Anyway, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for following through. If you have further questions, write them in the comment section, or just direct message me. I have my Facebook handle, my Instagram, my TikTok, everything here on YouTube, so you can click any of those and you'll be able to send me a direct message, because I don't think YouTube does that. So you can contact me on any of those platforms, send me a message, and we can talk further from this video. But yeah, it was so nice sharing these tips with y'all. I'm here to help anytime. I'm more than happy to help. I'm here. I'm so happy that I was able to do this finally. Anyways, see you in my next video. The next video is going to be about the interview stage. I know it's still early. You don't need to know about that, but I feel like it'll be interesting and important for you to know about them right now, so you start preparing as you should. But thank you. Please go watch my other videos. Go watch the other one about Shekin, or if you're interested in any of my vlogs, go and watch them. But thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because I also want y'all to be successful, and I want everyone out there to be successful. I'm here. I'm your girl. Reach out to me anytime. Feel free to talk to me, and I'll always be there to talk to you whenever I can. Thank you. See you in my next video. Why am I showing my teeth? Bye.